when Emily received a phone call from her best friend, Sarah. Sarah was crying and gasping for air as she told Emily that she was being followed by a man in a black hoodie. Emily immediately jumped in her car and drove to the park where Sarah said she was. When Emily arrived, she saw Sarah running towards her, screaming for help. They both jumped in Emily's car and drove away as fast as they could. As they were driving, Sarah told Emily that the man had been following her for days, and she didn't know what to do. Emily reassured her that they would be safe, and they continued driving until they reached Emily's house. Once they arrived, they went inside and locked all the doors and windows. Sarah was still shaking and crying, and Emily was doing her best to comfort her. But suddenly, they heard a knock on the front door. Emily cautiously approached the door and asked who it was. There was no response. She asked again, and still no response. She looked through the peephole and saw a man in a black hoodie standing on her porch. Emily and Sarah were paralyzed with fear as they heard the man try to break down the door. They knew they had to hide, so they ran to the basement and locked themselves in a storage room. They sat there in silence, listening to the man's footsteps as he searched the house. They heard him climb down the stairs, and suddenly, the door to the storage room began to creak open. Emily and Sarah screamed as the man stepped inside, revealing a terrifying mask on his face. He slowly walked towards them, and they could see the glint of a knife in his hand. As the man raised the knife, ready to strike, Emily woke up. It had all been a nightmare, but as she tried to calm down, she noticed a black hoodie lying on the floor next to her bed. She realized that it wasn't just a dream, and the man in the black hoodie was still out there somewhere.